Good morning and welcome to the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, and thank you for your patience this morning. We had some technical difficulties, and they happen to be things that happen every day all over the world. It was the first time it happened here. Thank you for bearing with us. We want to make sure that we stay connected with you. So this is the Center for Spiritual Living right here in Paoli, Pennsylvania. I'm Reverend Dr. Maxine Kaye, and this is a place where we teach the powerful, empowering principles of science of mind. We provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation, and we love each other to wholeness. And that's a very important thing for us to be doing right now. In fact, our vision for all of the Centers for Spiritual Living is awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. I don't think that there are all that many people in the world, although I think the number is increasing all the time, who realize that we have an opportunity to experience and to express spiritual magnificence. And this is the truth that sets us free, keeps us free. And of course, our mission is co-creating a world that works for all. And our statement right here in Paoli, Pennsylvania is, and if you know it, will you say it with me? Living, loving, learning, spirituality that works. And I would include laughing, because we find that it's important for us to keep our hearts light as we're going through difficult times. So welcome. Delighted that you're all here with me, and I'm delighted that we have an opportunity to share another Sunday morning together. This is the time we would normally have our opening song, and we had one all ready to go, but that happened to be part of our technical difficulties. So just hum among yourselves. And we'll look forward to have a song later on in our Sunday morning celebration. So I think the song was to have been All That I Need. And so I think it went something like, all that I need comes to me. So know that with me as you hum whatever you wish to hum. And now I think it would be a nice time for all of us to go into a meditation, yes? So just relax, maybe just for now, put your coffee or tea down. You can pick it up again later, because we want to get as relaxed and open-hearted and open-minded as we can as we leave whatever's going on in the world for us at this moment and come deeply into the heart of our hearts. So let's breathe deeply the living spirit of God itself, enlivening us, relaxing us, bringing us to a perfect center, and exhale any doubt or concern, any sense of separation, and let it go. And we continue to breathe naturally and normally, experiencing this divine circulation of life and allowing it to fill us with the sweetness of the presence. How good it is to return home, to experience the sacred silence of our hearts, of our minds, of our souls. Our consciousness is shining, radiant with the life of spirit. This is the place where God lives. This is the place where we live, in the very heart of God itself. And so as we give just a moment's thought to anything that might be of concern, or anything that might seem out of alignment in our world or in the universe, let's realize that underneath what might appear to be a mess is a divine, harmonious, universal expression of God's life. That this divine harmony underlies anything that seems chaotic or out of alignment at all. And we are being held in a context of love and peace and harmony, as all of the contents, the temporary contents of our lives, are showing up and moving on. And so we go even more deeply into this place in our center where the presence is so alive and so serene and so powerful that there is no doubt and there is no concern. They melt away like the morning dew. And how sweet it is to rest so deeply and so completely in the divine embrace, allowing ourselves to feel, to know, to experience the unimpeachable wholeness of this universe, flowing constantly, sweetly, powerfully through our bodies, our emotions, our thoughts, our entire consciousness. And we are made new by the renewing of our consciousness, and we abide fully and completely within the cosmic heart, the heart of love, the heart of wisdom. And here we dwell, and here we receive our nourishment. Nourishment we take out into our lives, into our days. And we are grounded, and we are uplifted, and we are inspired, and we are so grateful. Grateful to be together in the divine heart. Grateful for the radiant presence of love, that healing presence that continues to do its perfect work in, through, and as each of us and all of us. And it is good, and it is very good, and all is well. All is well, and all manner of things are well. And now I would like to invite one of our wonderful practitioners, Mary Furtaw, to bring us into the room with an opening treatment that has been pre-recorded. Mary Furtaw.
Morning. Let us know together that there is one power in the universe, and this power is a force for good. And this power comes from the one source. The source is God, and God is pure goodness. And each of us is an extension of this power, forever inseparable from it. Now, the science of mind philosophy is based on the concept that God is all there is. God is all there is because God is infinite, and that which is infinite cannot be contained. So when we realize this and apply this to our experience, we find that we can live a spiritual life in the world and not be of it. And this is the truth. I am grateful that it is. I release the treatment to the law, knowing that it's so, and so it is.
Thank you, Mary. Isn't it wonderful to be able to see our practitioners again? Now I'd like to have a word with the kids. Are you here? Have you finished your breakfast? Okay, well, whether you have or not, or if you're eating, go ahead and do that right along with us. That's absolutely perfectly fine. Well, how are you doing? We have all been pretty much staying at home, finding ways to stay happy and healthy and to be creative. I know our kids are extremely creative. You're brilliant, actually. So I know you've been finding wonderful things to do as we wait for the right time to be out in the world again. It's like the world has said to us, stop. It said to us, stop, a number of weeks ago, didn't it? It said, just sit still for a while. Breathe. Feel the sweet simplicity of life. Get to know your family better. And the world also said, and let me breathe. Have you noticed the skies are clearer? We hear that the waters are getting cleaner. And so we continue please continue taking care of yourselves and your family. We'll all be together again, I promise. I don't know when, but I promise we will. In the meantime, we're together this way, and I like it a lot. Have you seen the protesters marching all around the country and all around the world? Isn't it a beautiful thing to see folks standing with each other for fairness, for equality? And even though some terrible things have occurred, they've gotten our attention. And people are saying, stop, this is not right. So stopping is a necessary step in starting a whole new way of living in the world. We're learning some of that right now, just being in our own homes, with our own families, learning to be more open-hearted with each other, designing ways to live that are different than we have before. And some of these ways, like having dinner all together and so forth, let's continue to do that even when we are all out in the world again. It's time to sit still and to listen to our hearts and to remember that God speaks to our hearts in whispers. So we need to learn to listen more deeply. You and your folks and your siblings are a very important part of the change that we are now ready to have in this world. With God's life flowing through us and reaching more people than you may know. This is a precious time. And isn't it wonderful that we can be together this way until we are all together here again, right here in our sweet sanctuary. We're looking forward to it. In the meantime, let's just keep breathing and let's keep knowing that something beautiful is taking place. And you and I and all of the beloved community here is a very, very important part of it. Thanks for being with us today. Okay, this is the time that we sometimes have a demonstration of good, where somebody has had a beautiful thing occur in their lives because of spiritual mind treatment, because perhaps of working with the practitioner or getting a new idea, an epiphany about a new way to think or feel. And today we don't have one of those. But we've had plenty of demonstrations all over the world, haven't we? Maybe that's our demonstration today, is seeing people coming together for a common cause and walking and loving and hoping and praying, singing together. This is good. This is a beautiful demonstration, and I will take it. So why don't we affirm together today's affirmation. Oh, that's a lovely picture. Thank you, Edie. And here's our affirmation. Shall we say it together? Infinite wisdom within me teaches me with ease, leads me to a fuller life, and guides me to great freedom and limitless joy. Doesn't that sound good? Great freedom and limitless joy. And that's what we are entering into. This is a brand new month, and we have a new theme. This month's theme for June is practical spirituality. And that's exactly what the Science of Mind is. That's precisely what we teach and what we practice here. Very practical spirituality. And so today's talk is, it isn't rocket science. It's religious science. And it is simple, and it is powerful, and it is needed now more than ever, wouldn't you say? Here's a quote from Ernest Holmes from The Science of Mind. Whatever the nature of any principle may be, insofar as it is understood by anyone, it may be understood by all who take the time to investigate. This does not require an unusual degree of intelligence, but rather a practical application of what we now know in order that we may increase our knowledge. We are increasing our knowledge of the ways that these beautiful laws of the universe work. We know about sowing and reaping, here on the planet. We know about sowing and reaping in our consciousness. We know that our thoughts are powerful. We know that our beliefs make a difference about what happens in our world, our personal world, and ultimately in the larger world itself. We know that consciousness manifests. Consciousness manifests, and that dominant thought prevails. So if we think about, feel about, open our hearts and minds to knowing what's going on in our consciousness, it's a beautiful beginning to making a difference in our own lives, with our own loved ones, and truly, truly in the world itself. We begin at the beginning. What's the beginning? God is all there is. Say it with me. God is all there is. The principle is simple. It is powerful. And it is ours to use. So, how are we incorporating this simple spirituality into our lives? Especially right now with COVID-19 and the racial upsets. So much happening at the same time. Well, let's get it all done at once, shall we? Let's just enter into the possibility of this being the best time in life we have ever experienced, and use our simple, practical, powerful tools to make the world the way we finally know it can be in bringing heaven to earth. It's up to you and to me to do this. Simple, yes. But you know the old adage, still true. Simple is not always easy. But it becomes easier when our intention becomes so profound. And the effects in the world right now are bringing that intention to bear, aren't they? They're really making us step up and step out and speak up and speak out and link arms, either metaphorically or physically, if you feel that's appropriate. And I bless and praise the people who are comfortable to be that close together right now, because their consciousness is so powerful. They are manifesting a great good. Reverend Mike and I want to be there, out there with everybody. But we happen to be of an age that the health department suggests we don't. And so we do our work right where we are. We have choices about how we set our intentions and how we allow those intentions to be unfolding by the divine wisdom, which is in all of us. We need the people walking, we need the people praying, and we need the people walking and praying at the same time. So I'm thrilled with what's taking place now, because today's world is in the process of rebirthing, and you and I are the midwives, and we are also the new world and its participants. We're giving birth to ourselves. Now that's a good trick, but because of infinite intelligence and divine love, all of this can be done, and it can be done in and through us, and it's happening today. We are the change makers. We're the ones, all of us, not just you and I, we're the ones. Well, these circumstances have activated the reset button. We've been hearing this a lot lately, and it feels true, doesn't it? It's the reset button, and it had to take place. And we've had to return to a simpler way of living. And it's sweet. And I love it. And I'm not going to stop living more simply as we move into the new iteration of our world. And I love being the spiritual midwives to this blessed event. So we're facing and we're dealing with a global pandemic. Now, in religious science, we celebrate the unimpeachable wholeness of the universe. We know that it's true regardless of any external effect. And in the midst of any virus devastation. And still, while we're celebrating this truth, we take the proper precautions. And still, we help in every way that we can. And we bring transformational tools while we practice sanity. This is a very sane spiritual practice. Now, a revolutionary change is taking place in how we live with each other in this world. In religious science, we teach and celebrate unity in diversity. We have always celebrated unity in diversity. And still, there is a deep consciousness of separation in the world, all over the world, right here in our own country, right here in our own communities. And I have learned that as a white woman, I've enjoyed privileges that my brothers and sisters in the black community have not. So it's up to me to educate myself about history. It's up to me to look at my own unconscious prejudices. It's up to me to do my work. It's not mine to ask my fellow black brothers and sisters to teach me. I need to educate myself. And then I can be even more authentic in being an ally and in working together to bring our community and the greater community of the world itself into a place where we are absolutely, truly, authentically loving, respecting, and appreciating each other. I'm ready for that. You're ready for that. I know that. Centers for Spiritual Living is a beautiful organization worldwide of which we are a part and happy to be. And from our home office, from our diversity committee, we've had a beautiful, beautiful sharing called Racism in the United States. And I would like to read this to you. It comes from the heart. Edward Villon, our spiritual director, our spiritual leader of all of our Centers for Spiritual Living communities, and the committee itself has put this together, and I would like to share it with you now. It's called Racism in the United States. Centers for Spiritual Living calls for it to end. We are grieving lives that ought not to have been lost. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery are the most recent in a list of countless unarmed African American black people who have been murdered for the color of their skin over the past 400 years in the U.S. Too many generations have suffered, and it has never been, and it is not now, acceptable. We denounce racism in all its forms, the starkness of unapologetic, intentional racism, the racism of silence in the face of injustice, the systematic racism inherent in our education, justice, income, and opportunity inequality, and the racism that lies hidden in our individual hearts and minds. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors. We value a community-wide climate of safety that arises from compassion, justice, mutual respect, and kindness. Therefore, we join with our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, who, echoing the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., said, "You and I should form the habit of taking definite time each day to contemplate and affirm peace with justice. For there is no peace without justice, but faith without works is dead. We should not only pray, we should act, each contributing the best they have to the common purpose, each willing to make any sacrifice necessary, for there can be no individual self-preservation without the preservation of all. We call upon ourselves and the faith communities in the U.S. to take action that shows we have heard the cry of suffering, and we own our responsibility for it, whether that action is prayer, donations to organizations that promote racial justice, rigorous self-education, or active engagement, let not this moment in history pass unattended. May the actions we take be steeped in peace and respect for the sacredness of each life, knowing that whatever we do, individually and collectively, must be divinely directed from a higher consciousness. When we apply our proven spiritual principles through rigorous practice and compassionate action, the desired results cannot fail to demonstrate. We're teaming up. Our congregation here is teaming up with 2 other Centers for Spiritual Living communities here in this area. One of them is predominantly African American. The other is mixed like ours, but predominantly Caucasian. And our intention is to bring dialogue. Our intention is to open our hearts to each other. Our intention is to connect on very deep levels, to listen with our hearts. And what I have come to realize is that we have talked more than we've listened. Let's stop giving our opinions. Let's stop doing the assessments. Let's stop telling other people what we think they're feeling. Let's listen. Let's listen with our hearts open, because I have come to be aware that I have a lot more to know than I think I know. And recently heard this beautiful statement. I believe it was from Reverend Dr. Carol Carnes. What you think you know is getting in the way of what you need to know. What we think we know may be somewhat accurate, but it can never hold the whole truth. So let's be open-hearted and open-minded and begin to truly seek what is ours to know and what is ours to do. You see, our sane, simple teaching is a light in this world. God is all there is. Each of us is a unique and amazing individualization of God's life. There's no one else in the world, in the universe, just like you. You are designed to be amazing. You are designed, we are all designed to be instruments through which the love of God, the wisdom of God, the joy of God, the life of God can be expressed in beautiful ways. Every man, every woman, every child, every sentient being deserves love, deserves fairness, respect, equality. Love indeed is what justice looks like in the world. We're equipped to deal with every challenge. We are equipped to deal with it. We've been dealing with it in different ways, of course, but we have the wisdom. We are equipped with the intelligence, the creativity to make a difference in our own lives, in our loved ones' lives, and in the greater community itself. And we also know we're never doing it alone. Thank God. This can feel like a big burden otherwise. Like, what do I have to do? It's my job. It's my responsibility. Let's breathe. Let's keep breathing. Remember, the world has asked us to stop and breathe so it can breathe. Let's breathe into the solution. There's a powerful good in the universe, greater than you are, and you can use it. And what we have come to know, thank God we've come to know this, that there is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and it can use you. We just need to make sure we are clarifying the instruments of our physical, emotional, and intellectual personas so that they can be clear, beautiful, shining instruments through which Spirit may celebrate itself in this world, bring us new solutions. We work together as we are with our 3 communities that we're going to be beginning here. I'm just teasing you right now because we are going to be telling you more in the next few days about what is to happen and how we are visioning and designing this so that we can have conversations with each other, with our beloved brothers and sisters from different communities. Are you excited about this? I am thrilled. I'm really looking forward to it, and you'll be hearing more about it. There's always something we can do. We can figure out by opening our hearts and listening what is ours to do. And I'm feeling very, very much as though this is part of what is ours to do right now. Ours is a very simple, powerful philosophy. Let's be those instruments of healing and wholeness. Let's work for justice, for universal love, wholeness, abundance for all. Some of our other spiritual leaders in different CSL communities have been sharing on the Ministers' Field List what they're doing in their own congregations, what they're sharing, what they're standing for. And I would like to read just a couple of excerpts. This is a letter from Muata Rusuli. I would like to learn to say his name correctly. Believe he's in San Francisco these days. And this is just some excerpts from a letter he sent to his own community. This past week has been a challenging time for our nation and for the world. This loss, this grief, this outrage is exacerbated by the effects of previously imposed loss of liberty due to what I believe to be a necessary shelter-in-place order as a result of the highly virulent coronavirus. He says, I too feel a sense of profound grief and anger at the continued pattern of injustice perpetrated through racism, patriarchy, misogyny. All of these are manifestations of duality, of a separation consciousness in which the people doing these acts do not know their inherent oneness with God or of life. It is incumbent upon me at all times such as this to remember that they too are part of the body of God. It does no good to hate those who hate me. In fact, it is antithetical to the peace and harmony that I desire. And he brings to mind the Serenity Prayer. And he says, this memory ignites the spark of the divine. The spark of divine creation empowers us to tap into our divine inheritance, where we can change our perspective. This is always the one thing we can do, and we can do so knowing that this is the greatest difference we can ever make. By changing our perspective to include the presence of the divine in all things, we lose our fear of any and all circumstances and thereby mitigate our grief and rage. I echo the prophetic words of the anthropologist Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can make a difference in the world. Indeed, that is all that ever has. This is from a beautiful African-American spiritual leader. And then from a Caucasian spiritual leader, very near us, in fact, from Brian Akers. He wrote a beautiful love letter to racial justice. And of course, if you know Brian, it's much too long for me to read. But he's so clear. As a faith leader, I believe that there is one principle that binds us all together in oneness, and that principle is love. I believe now, especially now, that love is still the answer. And so he speaks of all of the challenges that we're going through and continues to say, and love is the answer. Love of self, love of one another, love of humanity, love of spirit. Yes, I still believe that love is still the answer. Let us show up in this moment and allow our love to fill the streets with cries for justice. Let us unite in peaceful and powerful demonstrations of the collective power that love affords us. And let love call us to begin now. We're speaking up everywhere. We're opening our hearts more deeply, more widely than ever before. We're listening, utilizing our beautiful, simple, practical, spiritual opportunities to make the differences in our lives we're ready to make. We're co-creating a world that works for all. We still are doing this. We're doing it more powerfully and with more intentionality, I believe, than we ever have before. We are cooperating with one another on the deepest level we have ever known. We're being called to it. This is our time. And we are the spiritual midwives, birthing an entire new country, a radiant new world, bringing heaven onto earth. It's our sacred mission to do this. It is our joyous responsibility. Will you say with me, infinite love dwells within me. It teaches me with ease. It leads me to a fuller life. It guides me to greater freedom. It provides me with limitless joy. It shows me what is mine to do. Will you say with me, if you care to? And so, my beloveds, beginneth our lesson. And before we go into our special, precious offertory time, I want to take just a moment to thank Django Klump, who sent us that beautiful guitar solo, the Bach, that played as we were ready to come into our celebration today. God bless Django. We're so grateful. He has another one coming up soon. What a great way to begin. I can't imagine beginning anything more wonderfully than with Bach's Cello Suite No. 1. Thank you, Django. And now, let's celebrate our prosperity. We are continuing to thrive, all of us, because we're setting that intention. We're thriving in consciousness. We're opening up our hearts and minds to a greater good that's possible for everyone, for everyone. And so let's celebrate the joyous opportunity to give and to receive, to be recirculating fountains of prosperity. And as we do that, let's prepare to take our gift, however we care to share that. Oh, look, it right up there. You can see ways and means for us to continue to sponsor and to contribute to and to keep this beloved center thriving, so that the day will come when we walk back in these doors and everything will be ready to receive us. Let's say our prosperity affirmation together. I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me multiplied, and I am prospered, and so it is. Take it away, Eddie Watkins, Jr.
God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. Jesus said that I and my Father are one. We're made in the image and likeness of the one. Since God is what we are, let God be what we show. Let's see the God in every face, everywhere we go. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. Oh, God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. Your mind is divine, and the garden of your soul. Plant love, faith, and happiness, and witness what unfolds from the beauty of creation. Reflected in your eyes, you see heaven right here on earth, and you live in paradise. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. Oh, God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. Omnipresence manifesting cosmic unity. The ins and outs, the ups and downs, and everything in between. I'm the intelligence, orchestrating relativity. The power of creation is His gift to you and me. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God.
Welcome to the GPCSL Sunday morning announcements. Today, we have the person who has showed many this wonderful, exciting game, the person who has become a bread-making extraordinaire, and the person who makes the slides go round. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the great Edie Janik!
Hello everyone, I'm Edie Janik and I serve on the board as secretary. I'm happy to share with you our announcements for today. Before I share our events and classes that are upcoming, I'd like to first share with you a message from the board. It relates to our reopening for in-person celebrations. You may have received this message in an email on June 3rd, but we wanted to make sure that everyone received the message, so I'll be reading it to you today. It reads, your dedicated and committed Board of Trustees has been monitoring the COVID-19 situation as it relates to our beloved community and our ability to hold in-person celebrations. At an interim meeting of the board on Monday night, June 1st, we agreed that out of an abundance of caution and in compliance with the current Pennsylvania regulations, we will continue to live stream our Sunday celebrations at least through the month of June. This is a very fluid situation, and we will continue to monitor all changes in the regulations as dictated on a local and national level. We may decide to extend the current Sunday format beyond the end of June. We will keep everyone informed as the situation unfolds. Rest assured, the board continues to be spirit-led and community-driven in all of our decisions. We eagerly await the time when we can swing wide our physical doors and welcome everyone back home to our center. In the meantime, we will continue to bring you the wonderfully produced Sunday celebrations, now available live on Facebook and YouTube, with great gratitude for our in-house producer extraordinaire, Jeff Messino. We've also got some social activities via Zoom planned for the upcoming weeks. Be sure to keep aware of all the happenings by catching the informative and entertaining announcements at the end of each Sunday broadcast. You can also read weekly news emails and also visit our website for details and links to join the live stream celebrations and our social events. Finally, we wish to thank everyone for their continued generous support of GPCSL. Thanks to all of you, we continue to meet our financial obligations in a way that will allow us to ride this current challenging situation and come back strong once it is safe and wise to do so. Knowing that this too shall pass, we rest in God and say amen. Lovingly, your Board of Trustees. Now I'll begin to share with you some of our upcoming events. Who's ready to have some fun?
We are.
I am, for sure. Join us on Saturday, June 13th from 7 to 8 p.m. for a special community Zoom game night. Payson Burt and Diane Cedar will be hosting, so how can it not be fun with the two of them hosting? They'll be hosting the match game, and we guarantee it's going to be hilarious. Go to the calendar at our website, click on June 13th for details, and if you'd like to participate, email Linda O'Neill at admin@csl.philly.com. Next up, and I love this one, Reverend Mike will be facilitating a special Zoom book club. It's going to be 1 hour each Saturday, beginning June 20th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you've ever tried to read the Science of Mind book, this is the subject of the book club. It's heavy in weight, sometimes heavy in content.
I agree.
Not always easy to digest. In fact, I've tried eating mine.
New thought.
Nom 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 nom. Oh, nom 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 nom.
That wasn't such a good idea. This is a much better way to help understand and learn the content of the Science of Mind book. It is a free offering. Of course, love offerings will be accepted. You can join anytime. You don't need to commit to every Saturday. You can join a session at your convenience. And we will continue to meet on Saturdays for 1 hour until we digest, in a healthy way, this book. So it's ongoing. If you'd like to participate, please email Reverend Mike at reverendmike@cslphilly.org. Of course, you can find more details, you know where, on our website, which is cslphilly.org. Next, how has affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment, been helping you lately? We'd love to hear your experiences. Contact Dr. Maxine via phone or text at 760-574-2490 to share your good news and the way that our spiritual practice has helped you. Now, lastly, wait a minute. Where's that last? I know I have one more piece of information to share with you. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at this. Oh, great. Well, is this my last announcement? Thank you. Let go. Let go of it. Let go. Okay. Thank you, Horsehead. Help comes in the most unexpected places sometimes. Thank you. This is my last announcement, and it's a good one. We will be holding a Zoom social today, right after our Sunday celebration. So grab your cup of coffee.
Coffee.
I have mine ready. Little prop for our cups that you can get at our bookstore once we're open again. Grab your cup of coffee or favorite beverage. I hear John Zoll's favorite beverage these days is a nice cold glass of Barks Diet Root Beer. So John, go grab yours. And you can join by going to zoom.us, enter this ID number, which is different than last week's. So take note. The ID number for this social is 839-510-324-52. And this, my friend, concludes today's announcements. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Edie. Wasn't that fabulous? I just wanted, she mentioned about the book meeting that's coming up, the Science of Mind textbook meeting. And I just wanted to mention, too, that you need to pre-register because otherwise you don't get in the door. So please pre-register. That's a lot to say at once. By emailing me at revmike@cslphilly.org. And while the book meeting begins at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning the 20th, it'll be every week, I advise you to get in there 15 minutes early. That'll be our meet and greet time. So please come on time because latecomers, it takes away from everybody else, and you don't want to miss a word. It'll be a lot of fun, and we won't be in a hurry to get through it because, as Edie said, we're going to be digesting this and having a good time as we do it. Thanks now.
Thank you, Reverend Mike. And guess what Sunday of the month this is? It's the first Sunday. I have to stop and reiterate. That was an amazing presentation of announcements, Edie. Fabulous. It's just wonderful every time. So it's the first Sunday of the month. And do you remember what we do here on the first Sunday of the month? We celebrate all of the June birthdays. So if you are a June baby, wherever you may be, please stand up so that we can acknowledge you, sing to you, have a virtual piece of cake with you. And are you ready? Hit it, Maestro. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear birthday. Happy birthday to you. That's it? Okay. Wonderful. And they are willing to have you share the birthday cake. And our closing song today is We Are the World, and this is presented by the Broadway United Performers.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call,
when the world must come together as one.
There are people dying, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all.
We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change.
We are all a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need.
We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. Send them your heart, so they'll know that someone cares.
And their lives will be stronger and free,
as God has shown us by turning stone to bread.
so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making, we're saving our own lives.
It's true, make a better
just you and me. Oh, when you're down and out, there seems no hope at all. But if you just believe, there's no grave we can fall. Oh, let's realize, oh, that a change can only come when we stand together and stand. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. We make a better day, just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. We are the world.
And so we give thanks that something beautiful is taking place, and we are the instruments through which it is occurring. This is simple, it's ours to do, and we're ready. And so it is.